Sorry about that. What ended up happening was my phone ran out of whatever, but I deleted a ton of photos. I went through, took me like half an hour, but now we're good. This should, most of my phone is just, the problem is mostly just pictures. So once I get through those, that should be good. Right now I have 10 gigabytes free, which should be enough to do videos. I kind of want there to be enough for an hour of storage of video so that I can do whatever on here. I deleted 5,000 pictures, I'm pretty sure, in total today, in order to get all this, to do this stuff. I love doing this, kinda, and it's nice to share it with others. It's one of my favorite hobbies. Oh, there's my bum. Gotta look after him, because sometimes he'll... No. Stop. Shoot. He'll try to jump up on the thing and get into a corner he's not supposed to where a ton of wires are and try to nip my computer wire. And I'll be without a desktop. Which is necessary, at least in editing the videos. Or at least it makes it easier. I think this will be a nice darker color. It's better for blending. I wonder if there's like a better dark. No. I'm gonna have to like mix some purple in with it. Into this darker. It's not too much darker though. In the picture it's not anyway either. But I kind of want to make it a bit darker just because I feel like it would add to it a bit more. And so I can shade it with this color. I like a bit more color dimorphism, if that's even a thing, than what's kind of present on her. She kind of has the same pink throughout her. So I'm going to take a bit of artistic liberty and make this a bit darker than it usually is. And by a bit, I mean, what ends up happening when I use that purple is it's going to be a lot darker. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully I don't run out of storage. What happens is it gets paranoid once you go over a certain limit of storage. So it'll end up like saying you don't have enough storage when you have like a gigabyte or something left. Like something ridiculously big. Or ridiculously big left, like gap space. Hopefully I won't be getting any more interruptions, especially since I did clear 10 gigabytes on here of stuff off. So 10 gigabytes free, so that should be enough. Saying that a lot of phones have 16 gigs to handle. And that's like with everything. So that should be enough space. I have a 64 gig. A lot of it's taken up by things that are like kind of like, you know, like things that I use regularly, like most of it's pictures. But a lot of it's taken up by, you know, YouTube takes up a lot, and Skype. Believe it or not, my messages don't take up much because I usually clear them, which you really shouldn't do. You should be at least keeping track of the messages you think are like red flags. At least screen cap them. Especially with Skype, where I'm pretty sure you can delete them no matter how far back you go. But I'm not certain with that, but pretty sure that's how Skype works. Trying to like find conversation that isn't like, I don't want to be political or too sweary in these videos. Watch, I'm going to be like, throwing F-bombs and everything later. I don't really want to be that way because this is supposed to be like relaxing for me and kind of for the audience. It's supposed to just be like, oh, look at that person. They're drawing they're drawing Baroness von Bonbon. That's pretty cool. I feel bad because like I don't think I'm entertaining for an audience. And I feel bad just being like, oh, I'm doing it for me, like being a bit of a Stephen King. Now that sounds like a compliment, but like Stephen King, if you know how he kind of is, he writes just because he loves it. He doesn't really care about the money, so even if he didn't make money off his books, he'd probably be like, he would still write them. It's his passion. That's probably why he got so good at it, is just because he just wrote and wrote and wrote, and he was like, this is so much fun. I'm going to write to make sure my bunny doesn't get up on the couch, because the comforter's really expensive. And he just wrote and wrote and wrote, and look at him now. Trust me, some of his books are hit and miss. Some of them get kind of weird. Like, you know, you got the real good books like The Shining and some of the other stuff, like It. But then you get some of the weirder ones where when you read it, you're like, what the hell is going on? Like, Skinwalkers or Skin Takers, I think was one of them. Then there was another one called Maximum Overdrive, which maybe the book was good, but I remember watching, like, seeing the movie, like, or the miniseries, whatever it was, and it was so weird. It was just, like, killer Coke machines, and this car, like, the trucks held people hostage so that they could give them gas. It was really weird. Like, you're like, why is because technology, especially like back then, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's more relevant nowadays where everything's connected to the internet or the cloud or something, but back then, like, none of it was connected. So, like, it's not like the soda machine was connected to the car that was connected to this and that. It's just like, one day it just kind of happened. So, it happened, and it was weird. And then it's like, these guys are like, we gotta save ourselves from these killer trucks. But it's like, dude, every other car is gonna be out to get you. What are you expecting to happen? You're not gonna get far. And then there was, I remember that Stephen King didn't like the movie version of The Shining. Personally, I think it's because a lot of times books do not adapt well into film. And Stephen King's books are often very surrealist and stuff that would work very well in a book, especially a lot of the inner monologuing and dialogue, works terribly in a film, because a film's a visual medium, whereas a book is not. So you end up with just, if you follow it too much to the T, then you might end up with a bad movie, ironically. Whereas it's a very big balance, because you do have to keep in mind how to convert it into a visual medium, because that's what it is. It's a very different medium than a book. But you also want to do the book as much justice as you can. So my theory is to try to keep, like, the themes of the book intact in your movie. So perhaps, like, the theme of a book is, like, or some of the other stuff is kind of important, so to keep that in mind. So you would try to portray that theme, but maybe, like, have to change some story elements because of time, or because it would make more sense, or because it was more complex and it needs to be better for a movie-going audience, which is usually, like, sometimes with the bigger books, they have a lot of complex themes, and oftentimes a movie-going audience is not as intelligent as readers is. You know, that sounds rude, especially as someone who I love films. I think it's disrespectful to be like, to belittle a film's intelligence and integrity just because it's a visual medium. I feel like people often just kind of see television as trash, which is not how we should see it. We should really respect it as an art form more so that we can actually desire better content from it. Like, we should be asking more of them, because if we don't, then we're just going to end up getting garbage. We're going to end up getting more Honey Boo Boo. And I mean, sometimes that stuff is okay. I think it's like modern art. Sometimes the plaster line is okay, but like other times you do want something that's a bit different. Like stuff that makes, you know, you're kind of like relaxing and just like, thank God my child isn't on a road to destruction. Thank God I'm not Honey Boo Boo's mom. You know, saying stuff like that. Please tell me that this is sideways. Please tell me this is recording sideways, because then it'll come out weird. It'll come out like that crappy sideways thing that everyone hates. Especially since I'm pretty sure I'm doing better on commentary this episode. Trilogy? Not trilogy. Trilogy means there would be 3. I think there's going to be more than 3 because I'm getting up to the 15-minute mark. Then again, she's kind of getting there. I feel like some of the colors do need to be touched up, though. Especially on the dress, because it just looks really... It looks messy to me. It looks a bit messier than I would really want it to be. I'm going to use a lighter pink for her gloves. I know they're like the same color, but again, I kind of want to make it so it's a bit different. Hopefully I have enough stuff on here. Okay, that's way too bright. Gotta dig into my resources here. I have a lot of shades of pink because it's like with Copics, Mopics, whatever. With Copics, it's kind of hard because of how it works to really adjust the... I'm just going to use your skin color and then deepen it up a little bit later. But with Copics, people pronounce it differently. But with Copics is much harder to... I don't know why, but the pinks, you can't really adjust it as much, and at least in my opinion. So it's like, I have a ton of pinks and light purples or whatever, and lighter colors because of that. Like, the yellows, especially the ones they give you in the, I have like a little 72 pack. Not little, it's great. It has most of the basic colors. I think the only ones I really needed to buy separate were a couple skin tones, some pinks, and some purples, just so I could get some lighter purples. But other than that, this is really nice. A lot of the colors I'm using now are just from the set. Do I want to use, oh, you know what, I'll use a hot pink. It's candy. She's made of candy. Oh, I'll try it. Well, I can always go over it in a darker color. Kind of looks awkward, but I don't really want to use the other color again. Oh, I gotta watch my time. Because I at least want these videos to split up naturally instead of being jolty. Because that just disrupts flow. And I understand, especially with a video like this, flow is quite important. So, you know. Come on, Megs. Find something to talk about. I'm pretty good. Pretty good at talking. Well, my phone's losing battery anyway. So I'm gonna cut it off here. Though the next episode probably should be coming up pretty much instantaneously. I don't know if I should like segment these or not, because I'll probably be doing these very often because I love doing it. This is like a passion right here, is working on stuff like this, and I love it. I love talking. I love drawing. Two of my favorite things. I like world building, and I can kind of do that too. So, yeah, next time we'll hopefully finish her up and start working on Cuphead. I want to finish this entire thing up, but we'll see.